In this video, I'll show you how to piece the blocks together. To get 4 identical units, you must place the 4 triangles in front of you, the blue diamonds always on their left, and the purple diamonds always on their right. You do this for the 4 units. Then you take the blue diamond, you put it on the triangle, you pin into the 2 dots, they must match and the edges must be aligned. Then you sew the 2 pieces together. This is what I have done here. I started the seam on the outer edge and sew towards the inner part of the Y seam construction. I stopped the seam at the dot. This is very important. If you don't stop there, you get a pucker. Then you flip the triangle and you finger press the seam allowance towards the diamond. Then you take the second diamond. Again, you line the edges and you mark the dots. You pin the dots. Excuse me. And you sew again. You start at the outer edge and you stop the seam at the dot. You flip the diamond. You finger press. The seam allowance is against towards the diamond. And the next seam is this one. So when I flip the unit, you see the seams. This seam is open and I started sewing at the outer edge and sew towards the Y seam construction. And I finger pressed the seam open. The next step is to add a square on the side of the purple diamond. I started the seam at the outer edge, stopped at the dot, and then I also cut the threads and the dog's ears off. And again, I finger press the seam allowance towards the diamond. I do this because later we will embroider on those seams, and it will be much easier if the seams are not on our way. And then you prepare 4 identical units. We'll piece 2 of those units. We'll make 2 pairs. So the next seam will be this one. We'll sew on the diamond from the center of the star towards the square. We'll pin again the 2 pieces together into the marked dots. The edges must be perfectly aligned. Again, I look for the dot and put the pin into the dot. And now I put another pin and I'm ready to do the seam. I start at the center of the star. This is what I've done here. And I cut the dog's ears off. I flip the piece. I finger press the seam, open, the center is not bad. and I do this seam here. So I start at the outer edge of the block and again I stop at the dot. My pin, this is the center of the block, and now we'll sew the two pieces together. We'll first make those two seams and the last seam will be this one.